Hello everyone. We were discussing about Portia's opinion about the different suitors. In the last part, we have seen that Portia's opinion about the different suitors, and we finished at her opinion of the young German, the Duke of Saxony's nephew, about whom she says that even in the worst case, she would not marry him. In reply to which Nerissa says, if he should offer to choose the right casket, you should refuse to perform your father's will if you should refuse to accept him. Now Nerissa says, but just imagine if the worst happens and if he chooses the right casket and if you refuse to marry him, then that means you would be going against your father's will. Then Portia says, therefore for fear of the worst, I pray thee. She says, I know that the worst can happen, and therefore I request you, set a glass of Rhenish wine on the contrary casket. Now she says that therefore I request you to place a glass of Rhenish wine on the wrong casket. Now see, because he's a drunkard, so this is her plan, that Nerissa would place a glass of Rhenish wine, that is a white wine, a very expensive white wine, on the casket, wrong casket. For if the devil be within and that temptation without, I know he will choose it. Because Portia is sure that even if there is a devil inside that casket, but a glass of wine is kept on that casket, he will surely go to that casket only because of that attraction of the wine. I will do anything, Nerissa, or I will be married to a sponge. She says, I am prepared to do anything rather than marrying that drunkard. Now she is calling him a sponge because just as a sponge can absorb any liquid, he can also drink any drink. Then Nerissa tells Portia that there is nothing to worry about it. You need not fear, lady, the having of any of these lords. Nerissa completely understands that Portia does not like any of these ladies, any of these suitors, and therefore she tells him that don't worry. You don't have to worry about marrying any of these lords. They have acquainted me with their determination, which is indeed to return to their home. He says they have already told me of their decision. And their decision is that they would go back home. And to trouble you with no more suit, unless you may be won by some other sort than your father's imposition. That is, they will not trouble you by their offers of marriage, unless there is some other way of winning your hand, other than the one which is fixed by your father in the form of lottery. Depending on the caskets, they have decided that they will not take part in the lottery of casket. And if Portia has any other way by which she can get married to them, only then they will they will make a proposal for marriage. Otherwise, they would all go back home. If I live to be as old as Sibylla, I will die as chaste as Diana. Now Portia takes a long sigh. She's very sad. She says, even if I live as old as Sibylla. Now Sibylla was a very old prophetess. I will die as chaste as Diana. Now see, Sibylla has been given this blessing. She has asked for a boon that she live many years. So she has been given this boon that she will live as long as the number of grains she will hold in her hand. Now you will find the references in the book, so you can learn straight from there. Who is Sibylla? That's a very important question. Who is Diana? So here Portia is saying that even if I live to be as old as Sibylla, who has been granted this gift of old age by the god Apollo, she says, I will die as chaste as Diana. Means I will die as pure as Diana, who is the goddess of the moon and also the goddess of the virginity. Unless I be obtained by the manner of my father's will. Portia has no, she has no surety that anyone could ever win her by following her father's will. So she's saying, unless someone wins my hand by the method which is described in my father's will, I don't think I will ever get married. I will remain as pure as Diana. I am glad this parcel of wooers are so reasonable. Then she says, I am pleased to learn that these suitors, they are wise enough. For there is not one among them, but I dote on his very absence, because there is not a single suitor whose absence will not give me pleasure. And I pray God grant them a fair departure. She just prays to God that they all have a safe departure. Do you remember, lady, in your father's time, a Venetian, a scholar and a soldier that came hither in company of the Marquis of Montfort? Now Nerissa refers to Bassanio. Bassanio had once visited Belmont when her father was alive, and Nerissa had noticed that Portia and Bassanio had liked each other, though they had not confessed their love to each other, but through the silent messages of love sent through their eyes, for Nerissa had observed that they both liked each other. So she's saying that, don't you remember the young Venetian, the scholar and the soldier who came in the company of the Marquis of Montfort when your father was still alive? So here this young Venetian soldier is the reference to Bassanio. I remember him well, and I remember him worthy of the praise. How now? What news? Portia says that I remember him well, and I also remember that he deserved all that which you have said. And she says, but why are you saying this? What's the news? Thank you. Keep watching the video and keep subscribing it so that you may keep getting new and new videos. Thank you.